statements and the testimony given in the cause to be the truth, self you got. That's our witness. Stand right there, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. You may proceed.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please state your name for the record.
Elsa Avila.
And Ms. Avila, where are you currently employed?
I work at Sacred Heart Catholic School in Uvalde.
How long were you employed with the Uvalde Independent School District?
26 years.
And in May of 2022, where were you employed? What school?
I was at Robb Elementary.
And what was your job position at Robb Elementary?
I was a 4th grade teacher.
And how long had you worked at Robb Elementary at that time?
About 8 years. And that was my 8th year.
Okay. Did you work at other campuses with the Uvalde Independent School District?
Yes, I did.
What other campuses did you work at?
I worked at Anthem Elementary.
I'm going to ask you to let me finish the question. I know you're very nervous, and this is nerve-wracking. But just let me finish the question.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. Did you also teach pre-K at some point?
Yes, I did.
And where was that at?
I taught, that was not with the district though, I taught with Community Council.
Community Council.
Mm-hmm.
And for the jury and for
The Head Start program.
Head Start program.
Yes.
For the community.
Yes.
Okay. As of 2022, how many years had you been teaching the 4th grade?
From 2007 to 2022.
Okay. And did you enjoy teaching the 4th grade?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell the jury why is that?
Because the students were a lot more independent. You could reason with them. They, it was just easier for me, and I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed that grade level.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for the school year of 2021 to 2022, did you begin that school year at Robb Elementary?
Yes, I did.
Now, can you explain to the jury what the Raptor system was at that time?
The Raptor system was an alert system that the school district used. It was an app on our phones, and it was to alert us to any emergency at the school.
Okay. And can you explain to the jury what is a lockdown as you understand it?
A lockdown is when there's a threat at the school, so we need to lock our doors, turn off the lights, and get out of sight.
Now, did you receive training as a teacher for the Uvalde Independent School District on a lockdown and the procedures of that?
Yes.
And who provided that training to you?
We had it every year during our in-service before school started, and it was provided by police officers.
Police officers for the Uvalde Independent School District?
I believe so, or it could have been police officers from the city. I'm not quite sure.
Well, do you remember who was the officer who provided the training to you?
For that year, I remember that it was Ruben Ruiz
Ruben.
and another officer, but I don't remember who the other officer was, because there was always 2 officers that would come and do the training.
And do you remember Ruben Ruiz being a police officer for the Uvalde Independent School District?
I believe so.
And his wife was a teacher, right?
Yes, because I remember that year he was joking around with Eva there in the cafeteria when we were having the training that year.
And when you mean by Eva, who are you speaking about?
Eva Mireles, which was a co-worker. She was also a 4th grade teacher.
Okay. And what room was she in?
She was in room 112.
Okay. And how often were you provided this training on lockdowns?
We had it every year, like I said, during in-service before school started, every school year.
Now, with regard to the children, how are they trained on lockdowns?
The children, we practiced with them, and I believe we had a drill. We had the lockdown drills once every semester, one in the spring and one in the fall, or one in the fall and then one in the spring. And we would also, they knew we would lock the doors, turn off the lights, and get to our secure area out of sight, the furthest corner in the room away from the windows and the door.
And who provided this training to the students?
We did, the teachers.
Now, when you are in training as to a lockdown, what are you trying to do as to the termination of that lockdown?
When we're doing the drills, the admin or the principal will come on the intercom and say, our lockdown drill is over. But when we were trained that when there was a real lockdown situation, a real threat, then we would remain out of sight, stay quiet until law enforcement came and opened our doors. We were not to answer the door to anyone. If they knocked or they said, we're here to open the door or open the door for us, we were trained that law enforcement would open the door because they would have the keys to our classrooms.
Now I'm going to take you back to May 24th of 2022. What were your work hours that day?
My work hours every day were from 7:30 to 4.
And where was your classroom? What I'm going to do, we're going to show you State's Exhibit number 756. May I press the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm going to give you a pointer, and I'm going to ask that you get up and show the jury where was your classroom on May 24th of 2022. For the record, you're pointing to classroom number 109,
Yes.
which is on the southeast side, second classroom north from the south door. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to sit down, thank you. Well, I'll tell you what, stay up there. Can you explain to the jury, when you walk into your classroom on May 24th of 2022, what would you see?
We walk in my door, this is a door to the hallway. We walk in, the connecting doors to 110. On the east side, we have 2 windows.
Excuse me, Judge. I'm so sorry. Can we ask Ms. Avila, do you mind raising your voice so we can hear you?
Why don't you go ahead and sit down, Ms. That way you have the microphone.
My teacher desk, or actually a kidney table, was at the far east wall by the windows, and then the students' desks were around the rooms in a U shape.
And when you say kidney table, I think we need to clarify that. What do you mean by that for the jury? Is it the tables in the shape of a kidney?
Yes, it's
Okay.
a table in the shape of the kidney, yes.
Okay.
So we did not have teacher desks. That was our small group table and also our desk.
Okay, so it doubled as an activity desk and a desk for you then.
Yes.
And how many years were you in that classroom as of 2022?
I was in that classroom, I was around 8 years, and I was in another classroom 2 years, so I was in that classroom about 6 years.
And where were the windows in your classroom?
They were on the east wall.
And did you have curtains or blinds on your windows?
I had blinds and curtains. I had blackout curtains because since we used the ViewSonic screen monitor, the glare would, even with the blinds, there would be a glare. It was hard for the students to see, so I had blackout curtains.
And did your classroom adjoin another classroom?
Yes, it adjoined room 110.
Now, on May 24th of 2022, was that a special day? Were there special activities that day?
Yes, that was awards day, so we had our awards ceremonies for 4th grade on that day.
And what time was your award ceremony?
My award ceremony was from 10 to 10:30.
So, because it was a free day, was it unstructured?
Yes, because a lot of children leave after the award ceremony. Not all the students stay. So no one was really following like the regular schedule on that day. Everyone was at different schedules.
What time did you get back to your classroom?
I got back to my classroom about around 10:30, 10:35.
Did all of your students stay? Did you have any leave?
I had one student that decided to go home.
Did the rest of your students stay?
The rest of them stayed,
And
yes.
why is that?
Because they knew that we were going to be doing fun activities that day. We were going to do a STEM activity. We were going to finish up piñatas that we were going to break on the last day of school, and we were going to have snow cones at recess. So they knew it was going to be a fun activity day.
Now, what was the STEM activity that y'all had planned for the day?
We were doing a STEM challenge. They were making, they were creating their own shoes out of newspaper. So they each had to create their own special shoes, and then we were going to have a race at 11:30. We were going to go outside to the playground and have a race to see who created the sturdiest shoes, whose shoe would make it to the end of the race. And then, of course, we'd have a winner, we'd have a prize, and fourth graders love prizes, and they love competing, so they were all excited about that.
Sounds like a very special day, was it not?
Yes, it was. We were having a lot of fun.
So you said that y'all were planning to go outside about what time?
At 11:30, I had set my timer on my phone, and the kids were ready for that timer to ring. They were ready to go outside and have the race.
In preparation to go outside, what did you have your students doing?
When the timer rang off, they're like, it's time, let's go, let's go. So we lined up at the door, and I was teasing them, and I was like, oh, well, let me take pictures first. Oh, let me take another picture. And they're like, let's go. Like, let me take pictures. I want to see everybody's shoes before we go, and they get ruined. So we were spending some time there taking pictures, and they were lined up at the door, and they were making their faces, and I was just taking pictures of their shoes. They were posing with their different shoes. And then as I'm taking pictures, my line leader, one of my students, a little girl, she told me, Miss, there's something going on. Miss Deming's class is running to her classroom, and they're screaming and running. And I told her, well, let's let Miss Deming worry about it. I'm sure she'll take care of it. It's okay. And so I continued with the other students taking pictures, and then she told me again, no, it's like they're scared, they're crying, they're running. And so I told her, okay, well, let me go take a look. So I told her, stand back. I went to the door. I opened the door. I poked my head out into the hallway, and I heard a female voice yelling, get in your rooms, get in your rooms. So I knew, okay, something is going on.
Now, how would you describe that yelling for the jury?
She sounded terrified, anxious. I mean, she was really screaming loud. So I knew, okay, something's going on. So I slammed my door shut. I turned off the lights, and I told the kids, let's go, let's go.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. Did you see the woman that was screaming?
No.
Did you see anybody in the hallway at that
I
time?
didn't see anybody.
So right now you have a woman screaming. She sounds terrified. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so then what did you do?
Like I said, I slammed my door, I turned off the lights, and I told the kids, let's go. And they know that that's
I'm going to stop
her.
you right there. You said you hear a woman screaming. You don't see anything, but you go into lockdown?
Yes.
Explain to the jury why that is. I mean, right now all you know is that you have a teacher screaming, you have kids that are running. Why did you go into lockdown immediately?
Because I knew there was some kind of threat, there was some kind of danger, and we had to go into safety mode. We had to protect the kids. We had to be sure that everyone was safe.
So what did you do then?
Like I said, I slammed the door shut, I turned off the lights, and I told the kids go. They already knew, when the lights are off, we lock our door. We know our next step is out of sight, stay down, stay quiet. So that's what I told them, is stay down, stay quiet. And I started directing them, but as soon as we started moving, we heard shots. We heard loud shots in the hallway.
What were your students' reaction upon hearing these shots?
That some of them started crying. They started moving faster towards the corner, getting under the counter. They knew that it was, a real thing, that this time it was not a drill, that it was something real, because they could hear the shots being fired.
Now, what were you doing as the kids are getting down and hiding? What were you doing?
I was directing them, to making sure that everyone was safe and out of sight, was down, and I saw that some kids had gone further down the classroom by the whiteboard, and they were getting too close to the window. So I stood up and was directing them to come closer, to the corner, to the west side, closer to me, where I could see everyone and where everyone was. And as I stood there and I was waving them over, that's when I felt, well, we were hearing shots, and I felt a shot on my left side.
So
And
you
so-
were shot at this point?
At this point, yes.
The
So
moment that you're standing up directing the kids to get
Yes.
closer to you. Is that correct?
yes,
So once did you realize you were shot? I mean, what did you feel?
yes, because I felt the pain. You know, I felt the burning pain, and I know I yelled, "Oh no, I'm shot!" And I fell to the floor. So yes, I knew I was shot, and I put my hand on my side, and I saw blood. You know, when I took my hand away, I saw blood, so I knew that I had been shot.
Once you fell to the floor, what happened next?
I fell to the floor, and we kept hearing the shots. They were just going like that, just one after the other, one after the other, and it would stop, and then it would go, it would go, it would go, it would go. And I was just laying there. I dropped my phone, I dropped my glasses, so I was crawling around looking for my phone, looking for my glasses, so that I could text somebody, you know, that I was hurt and let them know.
Were you able to text somebody to let them know that you were shot?
Yes, I did. I texted my principal, I texted the counselor, I texted some of my teacher friends on a teacher group that we had to let them know, you know, I'm shot, I need help, you know, send help. The counselor answered, she said, "Are you in lockdown? We're supposed to be in lockdown. Are you in your room?" I said, "Yes, I'm shot, I need help." And then she didn't answer, and then
Did you notice anything, another phone going off in the room at this point?
yes, at this point I noticed some flashing, and the children that were by the whiteboard, that's where the hooks are for their backpacks, so their backpacks were hanging there, so one of the students had grabbed their phone and I guess was trying to call out, or somebody was calling them. I guess that's why the phone was flashing, because it was on silent.
What did
And
you
so
do?
I could see flashing, so I crawled over there and I grabbed the phone and I said, "No phones, we don't use phones, you know, we have to stay quiet."
So let me understand that right now. So right now you're shot, you fell to the floor, you don't have your glasses on, you're trying to communicate for help, but you still realize that this other phone should not be going off,
Yes,
and you grab it.
yes.
Okay.
And I
Did one
kept
of your
it.
other students notice the phone also?
Yes, and because I grabbed it and I kept it with me, but it was face up and it continued flashing. And one of my little girls said, "Miss, it's still flashing, it's still flashing," and I couldn't figure out how to turn it off. I didn't have my glasses on, so then I just put it face down and just kept it with me and just face down.
So even she knew that that was not proper procedure for lockdown.
Yes.
Now, what happened then after that?
After that, the shots were going on and off, and then after a while, there was just silence. And then we heard footsteps, we heard like mumbling, you know, voices, yelling that we couldn't tell. Well, I couldn't tell because I was on the floor, so I couldn't tell exactly where the sounds were coming from, if they were from the room next door or they were in the hallway. I mean, I could just hear a lot of noise out there.
What were your students doing at this time?
They were staying quiet. They were hugging each other. They were helping each other stay quiet. Some of them were tapping me and they were telling me, "Miss, we love you. We love you. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay."
They were trying to comfort you?
They were trying to comfort me. And after I was texting and all that, then the pain was getting more and more, and I couldn't answer them anymore. I couldn't reassure them. I couldn't comfort them because I was trying so hard to keep in the pain. I didn't want to move and start, you know, yelling or. I mean, I knew I had to stay quiet and I had to stay calm so that they could as well stay quiet and stay calm.
Now, while you're lying there, can you explain to the jury what your thought process was?
As I'm lying there, like I said, I was hearing noises. I didn't know if it was the room next door, and that was my biggest worry, that he's going to come in there, and even that door is never locked, the connecting door. He's going to come in through there. You know, what can I do? I'm here. I'm on the floor. What can I do? I was under the desks because I'm on the floor, and the desks were there. Now, the thought that came to my mind was I can push the desks. You know, if I see movement at the door, I can try to push the desks over that way to topple the desks, maybe trip them up.
So you're thinking of ways to confront
Ways
the
to try to trip them up, or try to slow them down, stop them, something.
Now, were you eventually evacuated?
Yes, we were.
And how did the evacuation occur?
After, I don't know how long it was, it seemed forever. The police busted through the windows. They said, police, we're here to help you. And they broke in through the east windows, and they glass flew everywhere, and the students let out a collective cry, like keening, they all just cried at the same time because they've been holding it in for so long. And some of them ran to the window right away. Some of them stayed with me, and they didn't move. So
They wanted to stay with you?
Yes. So I somehow stood up and, told them, come on, let's go, move.
So you assisted them in getting out of the window?
Yes, I walked some of them to the table because they had to climb on the table, and then my bookshelf that was right under the window because the windows were high. So they had to step on the table and the shelves and climb out the window. So yes, I assisted some of them.
Who was the last person out of your classroom that day?
I was the last person out. By that time, I was out of strength, and it was my turn to climb out, and the officer kept saying, come on, get out. And I told him, I can't, I'm shot, I can't climb. And then they called another officer, jumped in, and between two officers, they helped me out the window, and I just remember hearing them telling my students, just run. But I didn't know, where they were running, where they were going. Two officers walked me out, and they kept yelling for a stretcher, but nobody came, and they just had to walk me all around the building to get to the fence, to get to the ambulance.
Now, I want you to explain to the jury, while you were laying there, what was your worst fear? You talked about that you were thinking about confronting, how would you confront the gunman, but what was your worst fear?
My worst fear is I was there, like I said, I was trying to hold in the pain. I was in so much pain towards the end there. My body was going into shock because my legs were already starting to shake. My whole body was starting to shake, and I kept praying, God, please, don't let me die in front of my students. And I wanted to see them to be the best thing they saw. And I was so worried because I couldn't. They kept telling me this, radio again. I couldn't answer them. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't comfort them. And I didn't want them to see me die there in front of them.
Your fear was that you would die in front of them.
Yes.
Thinking about that day, what are your thoughts about those students?
I was very, very proud of them because they did everything they were supposed to do. They followed their training. They did everything just as they were supposed to do. They stayed down. They stayed quiet. They took care of each other. They tried to take care of me. And like I said, they followed their training. They did what they were supposed to do.
Now, Ms. Avila, are you still teaching today?
Yes. When all this happened, I retired because at that time I could not see myself back in a classroom. I could not even step inside a school building. I would get panic attacks. And I had to retire because I just could not see myself back in a classroom.
And why are you teaching?
Well, I went through counseling, through PTSD therapy. And as I got better, medication, I got better. I missed it so much. I missed the teaching. So this year is my first year back. I was so happy to be back in the classroom. I love my students. We have a lot of fun. And so, thank God that I'm back in the classroom.
Pass the witness.
Do you need some time? Some more time?
Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am, of course.
Yes.
May I proceed?
Yes.
Well, let me just say this. Any child that has the blessing of being under your tutelage is blessed. There's no doubt about that. I think we all can see that you're an amazing teacher and a wonderful person. Congratulations on coming back to teaching. Sounds like it's a passion of yours. My name is Nico LaHood. I'm one of the lawyers that represents Adrian. Okay. Do you know what part of the trial this is? This is called cross-examination. Have you ever testified before?
No.
Okay. So you answered questions for the government. We get opportunities to ask you questions. I promise you I'm not going to be mean, and I'm not trying to trip you up. I'm just going to ask you some perspective questions, okay?
Sure.
If at any time you don't understand my question, just say, Nico, and you can call me Nico, please. Nico, can you repeat that, or whatever you want, just stop me and ask me to rephrase it, okay? Mm-hmm. And just for the court reporter, we have to say words like yes, no, just because she's typing it down. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you. So I guess we can start with like a Raptor system. I know that the jury's heard a number of times about the Raptor system, but is it fair to say, I think we've heard testimony that the Raptor system, no one got notifications on the Raptor system to this incident, right? Or do you recall?
But I don't recall. I mean, I was holding my phone, but I don't recall the Raptor system going off on my phone. I don't know about everybody else.
And was the Raptor system kind of something new that the school was trying out?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. So it wasn't really refined yet, and teachers weren't using it as much as probably they intended it to. Is that a fair statement?
Well, it was only for in case of an emergency, so we really hadn't had any emergencies, so we hadn't used it.
Okay. You didn't have emergencies, but there were quite a number of bailouts in that season of the school, right?
Yes.
And then the jury's heard this. Bailouts are where someone here, allegedly here illegally, is trying to get away from police. They ditch their car, they bail out of their car, and they're running, correct?
Correct.
Now, whenever the school did have bailouts, it was in relation to, whenever the school did have lockdowns, it was in relation to bailouts. Is that fair?
Yes.
How many bailouts, if you recall, do you remember during that season of schooling, or that last quarter?
We had many. I can't recall a certain amount, but we did have very frequent ones, yes.
Very frequent bailouts. So the lockdowns were in relation to that, right?
The ones we had so far, yes.
And there's a difference. There's a difference between a lockdown, and I want to use the right term, and a secure in place.
Correct.
Will you describe to the jury what the difference? We know what a lockdown is, but what a secure in place is?
A secure in place is there is some kind of situation that we don't want anyone to be involved in going on in the campus, but it is not like an imminent threat. It's just we don't want anyone around. It could be a medical emergency. It could be there's a stray dog. It could be it could be a number of things. And so everyone remains in their classroom. We lock the doors, but it's business as usual. We continue teaching. It's just no one in or out your classroom. So you're secure inside your classroom.
Right. It kind of, it speaks for itself, secure in place.
Mm-hmm.
And so the lockdown and the secure in place, the only two things they had in common was lock the doors. Right?
Yes.
Because on a lockdown, there's hiding, there's lights off, there's
Yes.
huddling in a corner, there's curtains, maybe. But on a secure in place, it's just lock the door and then you keep teaching.
Correct.
But no one goes to the bathroom, right?
Correct. No one
Right,
in and out.
You stay there.
Mhm.
And so the critical part of both of those is to make sure those doors are locked.
Correct.
Was the intercom used at all?
During the lockdown, during the bailouts, we use the intercom. Yes.
Now, I think we've heard from you and then from other teachers that an individual teacher could initiate a lockdown of their own classroom whenever they felt they needed to, correct?
Repeat the question. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
ma'am. You didn't have to wait for the principal to tell you lock down. You can make that call yourself. For your class.
For my class,
Yes, ma'am.
I never did.
You never what?
I never did that. So I'm trying to think.
Well, maybe it's a bad question. Let me just, actually, you testified to this jury. You did a lockdown. You heard something. You sensed danger. You didn't wait for the principal. You didn't wait for the intercom. You didn't wait for Raptor. You did the right thing, and you said lockdown, and you told the kids to hide, and you turned off the lights, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you mentioned it, but I don't think you said it. You actually locked your door.
My door was always locked.
Okay. And that's so even without a lockdown, you always had a locked door.
My door was always locked. Yes.
Why did you do that?
Because it was our policy to have the locked doors because of the bailouts and all that. I mean, for security, we were supposed to have our doors locked.
Okay, so let's talk about that briefly. So aside from a lockdown, the doors are supposed to, school policy, the doors are always supposed to be locked.
Correct.
So when you come in the morning, you set up class, and your doors are locked. If a child has to go to the bathroom, would you go open the door for them, or were there kids designated to open doors for each other when they went to the restroom?
The doors can be open from the inside, so I didn't have to open it for them. I mean, they could go out. But to come in, yes, my students knew. I had designated the students that were closest to the door. They were designated. They knew that they would open the door for the students going to the restroom.
And that was, through your experience, it seemed like a very simple and practical way to handle the inconvenience of having to stop class and opening the door.
Yes.
Any teacher could have done that. That sounds like you took initiative and you did that on your own. Like you implemented
That's what
that.
I did in my classroom. I don't know what others did, but in my classroom, that's what I did.
But there's nothing that would have stopped other teachers from doing the same policy.
I cannot speak for other teachers. I mean, that's what I did in my classroom.
Yes, ma'am. I understand. And so when it came to the incident, now we'll direct your attention to this horrible incident. 1 second, ma'am. I'm sorry. You mentioned the threats, the perceived threats from bailout. What did you perceive as a potential threat from a bailout?
That the person that was trying to run away, would go into our school and, try to barricade in our school or, something, an unauthorized person entering our school.
And so you understand about what a barricade is, right?
Well, somebody hiding inside our building.
Yes, ma'am. And could one of the potential threats be hostages as well? If someone's trying to get away, they get into the school and they'll maybe use you or a student as a hostage to get away?
That could be a threat, yes.
And so now I want to bring your attention to May 24th. So you described the award ceremony and you described what you were thinking and what was going on and the nature of the classroom and what you guys were doing with the STEM project. But when you said that one of the students alerted you of some type of danger, do you know now, how did she see that if she was in line? Did she look out a window? Did she hear something?
Yes, our door has a window, so she was looking out the window, yes.
So she was earlier in line, and so she was looking at the window getting ready to go out of your classroom, not the building, right?
In my classroom, yes.
Okay. So as you get out of your... May I approach the witness, Judge?
Yes, sir.
Stand behind you, okay? And so Your classroom was 109?
109.
Yes, ma'am. So you're right here.
Mhm.
So you're saying that the children they were in line this way,
Yes.
and so this young child was looking out this window.
Yes.
Do you know what she was seeing?
She said she saw Miss Deming's class running in the building.
And Miss Deming's class is where? What?
Miss Deming's class is room 104.
Okay.
So she's told me they were coming in and they were running to Miss Deming's class.
That makes more sense now. So you're saying that she's looking out, ready to go, and then they're running in, they're piling
running
in. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And then so you took the initiative to look out the door to see what was going on, and that's when you heard a female voice, "Get back in your classroom."
Mhm.
Do you know now that was probably Amy Morin?
Yes.
Right. And so she was yelling down the halls to get down to the classroom. You could hear her. You understood what she was saying.
Yes.
And so then you didn't even have to take another step to lock the door because you have a policy in your classroom. That door is always locked.
Yes.
So you focused on the children.
Yes.
And do you know now that the bullet that unfortunately hit you was shot from the outside going through the classroom across from you?
I'm gonna object, cause for speculation.
If she knows, Judge. I said if you know.
No.
If you know, you can answer, ma'am.
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, fair enough. But the shooter never got to your classroom down the hallway that you saw.
I never saw him, no.
At some point you said that you heard footsteps and yelling in the hallway.
Mhm.
You now know that officers from the south door rushed into the building
I'm
early
gonna
on.
object, cause for speculation. I don't think he's like the predicate for these questions.
Well, and the predicate is you know now, and if she doesn't know, she doesn't know, Judge.
Okay, ma'am, just tell them if you know or not, and move on.
Yes.
You do know that officers came in the building,
Yes.
and early on in the process, earlier on. I'm not talking throughout the whole incident where there was 376 officers there. I'm talking about early on, a number of officers came in to that side, the south entrance. Do you not know that?
Now do I know that?
Yes, ma'am.
After the fact, yes.
Okay. But I'm just trying to correlate it, that those are the footsteps maybe that you were hearing and the talking, the yelling back and forth. That's all. I'm correlating it to that.
I don't know. I just heard noises. I don't know where they came from.
Yes, ma'am. At some point in this incident, you heard someone talking to the shooter in a room,
Correct.
and you heard them asking that individual, that voice, talking to the shooter, talk to us, and telling them that we don't want anyone else to get hurt. They were trying to get him to get out.
Correct.
And so, from your experience, if you know, that was what they perceived or what you perceived as a barricaded person.
I heard a voice saying, sir, we need you to stop. We don't want anyone else to get hurt. That's what I heard. And do you know, are you aware of the policy of the doors to the building to even enter the fourth grade building, whether they should be locked at all times?
I'm gonna object, that's been asked and answered.
Not from this witness, Judge.
She talked about the policy already.
To her classroom door, Judge, not the
I'll
building.
overrule the objection. Restate the question, please.
Yes, sir. Are you aware of the policy from the school to have the external doors, the building doors, locked as well?
Correct.
And you say correct, meaning that those external doors by school policy are supposed to be locked as well?
The outside doors.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
But teachers have keys to the doors, but
Yes.
but that general public is not supposed to be able to walk into those buildings.
Correct.
Ms. Avila, thank you for your testimony, and I'm very sorry that you went through this incident. God bless you.
Good.
Yes, ma'am. With regard to your door to your classroom, you said it was always locked, but did you have to lock it from the inside or the outside?
From the outside.
And in order to get it locked, did you have to slam it, or would it just shut on its own and lock?
No, we had to slam it. Even the students already knew you had to slam it because sometimes the lock wouldn't catch. Even though it was locked, if you didn't slam it, the lock just wouldn't catch. So they knew to slam it every time we closed it.
And you slammed it that day?
Yes.
That's a witness.
No further questions, Judge.
Recall? Anybody?
No, Your Honor.
No recall,
All
Your Honor.
right, ma'am, you are excused, released from the subpoena. However, the rules have been invoked in the case, so I would ask you not to discuss the case with anyone until you're aware the trial is over. Thank you very much. Your next witness, please.